Friends.
Okay, so we should be pretty much getting towards the ends of the Mar Mekoimis for Tzorchei Rab and Tzorchei Guf to Tavkuf Lamed Vav already, Tzorchei Rechiva. I'm not going to spend too much time over there. There's some Chashav Yisodus, Lagabe, transportation, cars and these things, fixing them, using them on Chol Hamoed, a little bit negate to other things, for handicapped people driving their little cars, elevators. Speak a little bit about that, B'hamshich. And this should hopefully, all these Mar Mekoimis should only take us hopefully a few more days, and we'll already, sometime in the middle of next week, have a Mar Mekoimis the next sugya. So Hakopanim, Sim Tov Kuf Mem Dalet is Be'ikr, the halachas of Tzorchei Rabim. But as we saw, the dinim of Tzorchei Rabim are also Mitl Toi V'Koi in the dinim of Tzorchei Haguf. That is, what exactly, which heterim exactly we give for which Tzorchim and Chol Hamoed, Seifer Rabim, Seifer Yachid. And just like we know that for Eichel Nefesh, there's a special heter that allows beyond the regular heterim of Tzorchei Hamoed, which are only mutter b'maisa hedyot. So Tzorchei Eichel Nefesh are matter beyond that, are matter even for Maisa Uman. So Hu Hadin, we have the question of other Tzorchei Haguf, Tzorchei Rechitza, for a Merchatz, for other Hanois Haguf, and that's what Tavkuf Mendal brings us into these other Mar Mekoimis, the end of Tavkuf Memvav, Lagabe Tachshitei Noshim, v'chulei. So the shirish of the heter of Tzorchei Rabim Betzim is the Mishnah Daf Beis. Mishnah Daf Beis says Lahedya. That metaknin, the lashon of Mishnah is Lahedya. Can we metakin kol Tzorchei Rabim? Oisin kol Tzorchei Rabim. And the Gemara brings a number of examples of common things that the Rabbim generally needs, which is fixing the roads, taking care of the mayim, the baris mayim, and metakin the kvoyus, yotzin al klayim, mitzayin koros, basic needs of the Rabbim. And this is the heter of Oisin kol Tzorchei Rabim mayid. So the Gemara Daf is Mavur that there's an issue. What do we need the heter of Tzorchei Rabim for? Harei Tzorchei Hamoed are mutter even for a Yachid. It's not limited to a Rabim. So what's the special heter of Tzorchei Rabim? So the Gemara Daf is Mavur two things. That's the two famous kolm of Tzorchei Rabim, which we have to be ma'ayin and understand a little bit better. But that's what the Mishnah Berurah, all the place can bring the Tchilas HaSimen. What's Mavur Daf the kolm of Tzorchei Rabim, which is Michad Gisa, a Yachid on who has a Tzorech on the Moed can only do a Maaseh Hedyot. For Rabim, can even do a Maaseh Uman. And mitzad sheni, a yachid can only do something tzarech hamoed, not tzarech achar hamoed. If it's einoi tzarech loy, the yachid, he can't do anything. Mashein kain. For Rabbim, as long as it's a ma'aseh hedyot, they can do a malach even shalom tzarech hamoed. That's before in the Gemara Lagabe Chafiras Beiros, that the Gemara says that Chafiras Beiros, which the Rishonim are masbir, is a meleches uman, which would be also for a yachid, and is also for yachid for Rabbim is mutter. And Chatitas Beiros, fixing up a bar, which is a ma'aseh hedyot, the Rishonim say the Rosh and Yosef. So, Chatitas Beiros for a tzarech of a yachid is molni mutter l'tzarech hamoed, but for Ram is mutter even shlo l'tzarech hamoed. That's the general column that come out from the Gemara Daf and the Mishnah on Daf Beis, and that's why we need a special heter of Maisa Uman to be matir things that otherwise for yachid would be aser. Thus says Maisa Uman l'tzarech hamoed and Maisa Hedid shlo l'tzarech hamoed. That's what the Mishnah brings. That's the klal ha'oile from Siman Tov Kuf Mem Daled in Tzorchei Rabim. So the heter that we're matter at Tzarech HaMoed for Rabbim to do even a Maaseh Uman, to fix the roads of Maaseh Uman, Merchatz Shel Rabbim, you had to go do Maaseh Uman, fix the whole thing from the beginning to the end. So Bazeh Yesh Lahavin, B'Pshitos L'Chayr. Like we saw already in the beginning of Hilchos Chol HaMoed, the Shail of Tzarech HaMoed, the Maaseh Uman, is a Shail of Isser D'Rabban. As long as you have a Tzarech HaMoed, Zok D'Rabban, even if you hold Melechas Chol HaMoed is D'Raisa, B'Yar Halachas Machriya, you only have to be Choshish for the Shitas that the etzem tzarech hamoed is the right. But if you have a tzarech hamoed and you want to do a ma'aseh uman, that's only an isser derabanan. The Chazal Ramatol isser derabanan. So yitachin that when do they aser a ma'aseh uman? They aser a ma'aseh uman for a yachid. Mashenkin for a rabbin, you're allowed to do the ma'aseh uman loch miru b'ma'aseh uman for tzarech rabbin. And as we're going to see in Hemshech, this is a very important shaila. How much exactly did we matter for tzarech rabbin? How much did we matter for tzarech rabbin, and how much did we aser Meleches Uman. If we accept the fact that Meleches Uman is only a Chash Derabanan, so then there's Makom Ladun that if we find the Kula for Tzarchei Rabbim, say they're a Mekel, Bakach Lo Yichmiru. I'll just mention it now, we're going to get back to the end of this year. I have a different ha'ara, which is a little bit kashur to the previous shilas we discussed by Maisi Umaisi Hedyot. Many of the shilas we have today are shilas that were very uncommon bismaneim, because we have a problem with the air conditioner that breaks on Yontif, and we have a problem with your oven, and you have a problem with your sink, and with your shower, and all these shilas that Mirza Hashem will get to on Chol Hamoed. You're allowed to fix all these things on Chol Hamoed. So we're in a Metzias today, where very often you have to call the Techna. You can't do a Meleches Hedyot. And to know how to fix a Mazgan, usually you need a Meleches Uman. It's something that's only Shaykh Meleches Uman.
He's allowed to work with Chol Hamoed?
Well, that's what
Is that called Meleches Uman for sure?
What?
Is there a gadget with fewer that's for sure Uman?
So that's another question, but let's assume it's something that's Mamish Umnus. So Ba'oifin that you have a heter to do malacha. Reb Chaim is asking a very good question. It's another Reb Chaim that joined us for this year. Not Reb Chaim Rosen, Reb Chaim Salom. So Ba'oifin that you have a heter. So all these shilas are, could you do a Maisa Uman? Why are we asking you to do a Maisa Uman? Just do a Maisa Hedyot. The answer is Bizmanenu in the Metzias HaChaim that we live in, so you can't do a Maisa Hedyot. Because if you open up the air conditioner, you try to fix your sink by yourself, it's going to be gone. And you're going to just have a big flood and a big mess, and you're going to be in Kedavar of it. So, do we have a raya? All the tziurim that we find, that Chazal asked Maisa Uman, is because they demanded, and the way the Biur Halachos Machriya, they demanded Midrabanan that you do a Maisa Hedyot. Let's say you can't do a Maisa Hedyot. So let's say you can't do a Maisa Hedyot, you need a Maisa Uman L'Tzarech HaMoed, and if not, you're not going to have your tzarechim. Let's say you have a Mazgan before this year. This year we'll try to find a heter to fix your Mazgan L'Chuli Alma. But let's say you don't have that heter. No heterim from all the shtiklach Torah we're going to try to say from the Rashba and the Ritva that if it's Iyaf Shabalavach, he becomes like Oichel Nefesh, forget that. Stam, I have a Mazgan, it's also to do a Maisa Uman because it's Tzarech Yachad, I live by myself mamish. But Balavach, I'm going to be stuck without it. Ha'im Nechmiru B'chi Agav. Maybe it's mutter.
The whole Turkey is Turkey
Yisrael is also from, what are you talking about, by Dover Ovid? Not by Dover Ovid, for Tzarech HaMoed, we have no problem with Turkey Yisrael. Something that's Tzarech HaMoed and you're doing a Maisa Hedyot, there's a problem with Turkey. What? Tzarech HaMoed, yeah, I needed my Mazgan. My Mazgan breaks. Yes? So we have a Shiloh, a very serious Shiloh that many places can think, you're not allowed to fix it, but you're not allowed to call a Technai to fix your air conditioner. I ask, who says? Maybe B'chi HaGavna, it's not Shaykh in Maisa Hedyot, Chazal were never machmir. Do we have a Hechet Timtza where Chazal said, do a Maisa Hedyot, and if you can't, too bad, suffer, be in the heat? Maybe not.
Yes. The Rosh brings, I think Borsh Chimar says that this is a thing that cannot be done with a shinoi, so itakas.
Oh, very nice. No, for care. I think that Rosh is right to me. The Rosh says by Tzarchei Rabbim, he says the reason why we allow you to do a Maisa Uman for the Boris Shal Rabbim, because you can't do a Maisa Hedyot. So Hagufa, when you have a tzorech where you cannot do a Maisa Hedyot,
Like the Yachid that's
I'm saying he's talking about Rabbim. He's talking about Rabbim. Why we matter Maisa Uman for Rabbim? Because there's no other option. So I'm just saying that. So I'll tell you the one by
on that he says Yachid is Asur. Hagufa.
That's a different story. That's because it's not a tzorech kol kach. Maybe it's not nechshav a tzorech.
No. That's not that shit. But that's a Rashi.
Until it gets Pekuach Nefesh, there's Asur.
When the Rosh, not the Rashba.
The Rashba says Pekuach Nefesh. I don't think it's Mamish.
He doesn't say the Svar if not for his name.
Well, the Rosh is going right. The Rosh quotes the right.
Yeah, right, not the Rashba. He doesn't even kill me.
Yeah.
So only by Rabbi. There's no other way to do it. The Yachid can't do it. You need a tzir from Rabbi and.
Yeah, what is the rush being machmar for a yachid to what? Not to die. It's not Pekuach Nefesh. So what do we need?
It's only
It's not going to be being close for his board.
He can't be choy for his bar, but he has mine. Or I'm just saying that he has other mine. Presumably, if you're Rebbe Shem, the rush is not really. Well, he isn't here. That brings it back. We have one.
You don't have to have an air conditioner. What do you want? What do you mean? That might be his door. You have to have an air conditioner.
Yes.
20 years ago, people didn't have air conditioner.
Fine. Let's leave the air conditioner. A shower. So someone's mamish feels he's going to get ill. Let's not talk about chayil. Now, 1 second. We spoke about this in Tov Kuf Mem Aleph Lagabi the Mitzudas. There might be a riot. The Gemara says you're allowed to make one kind of Mitzuda Maisa Hedyot and the other kind of Mitzuda Maisa. What kind of machine? Breathing. So we're going to get back to Refuah. Refuah Lamaisa, the Shulchan Aruch Tov Kuf Mem Beis Paskins. I think this is Lamaisa going to be a big riot with Dvorenu that a chayil is allowed to do anything. Lechus Uman, had you fix the machine, get a technai, everything. That's certainly for tzarchei refuah. Now, what about an electronic wheelchair? A kolnuit? That might be a different story because he's okay to just sit in his place or use it. Not, but tzarchei refuah, yes. Now, the makar might be from mitzudas, because by mitzudas, that's when we brought a raya. I don't want to get back into the sarichus about ma'aseh u'ma'aseh hedi, but l'maaseh state by mitzudas that there's one kind of mitzuda for the fish. Rashi says that you're allowed to make ma'aseh u'man, and for the birds, that's ma'aseh hedi you're allowed to do. Ma'aseh u'man is the birds. You're not allowed to do. It's a little bit. It's mashma, possibly, that there was no other way to make the bird net. It was a ma'aseh uman bechefta, because you need umnas to know how to make this net, and it's aser b'lavachi. So, if that's our biggest raya, that's a shtickle shvach raya, because maybe there were other ways to make bird nets that were takamutter, and like the Aruch HaShulchan points out, some Rishonim learned that the two nets were really for the same things, they were just two different types of nets. So it would be a shvach raya. What you bring from the Rosh, I think, is a question of how much it's a tzarech. Like many places can say, like the Magen Avraham says, the Rosh holds not called tzarech. But if you have a really tzarech mufuk that we hold to be yes tzarech, we're just stuck because hagid ma'izuma. It's a ha'ara gedoylo that we don't have any mefurish mekayros. That's something that b'lav hachi is going to be nesbatel misimchas yontiv, and you're going to have a tzarech. You're going to have without chayli. You have a be'emes bona fide tzarech gomer. That even if without the heterim, that hopefully we'll find some good heterim. But even without the heterim, maybe we have to find the right the isser b'chal before we find that. So Ish La'ayin was there, and I think the Rosh is Be'emes one Maramakom we have to be done on, and the other Maramakom I think is Mitzudas. These are the two Maramakoms. I don't think either one is a Davar Barer, and that's a very big Omer Darshen, whatever. That's a big Ha'ara, that you have to be Ma'ayin, Tzorch La'ayin was a Yoiser, and to have a Klar Zach. Is there a Klar Makar that maybe if you have a Tzorch Hamoyed, which Minat Torah that Ramban says is Mutter B'choloifen, and the Rabbanon and Chazal came along and Asr, do we say Ein Ba'elu Chidusha, we only find that they answered Ba'ifin that you have either some kind of other way to get the water or some other way to do Ma'isa Hedyu Yeshlein.
There is a ritva by Rechaim. The ritva learns that Rechaim is only Machshir. And he says, he's going to shoot to the Rambam, but it seems like he's trying to fit it with what he says. He says that the Rambam matches everything. You could build a Rechaim, you could make Pasena and whatever. And he says, because that's, the Gemara when it says it's usher to do whatever, is only when it's Efshir, you can use it C words or whatever. It's the Efshir, it's mutter. And that's
Char, it's even Ma'aseh
Pasena or building a Rechaim. It's Machshir.
Yes.
The way the Sharatzion understands the Rashi of Chuvas is that the whole heter was, if this guy doesn't maybe he will, and what's that? Sorry, Taka boils and lice and disgust horrendous, and Taka learns that for a Yachid will tell him now you don't even need it. It's the exact same case.
So let's get to this Rashi now. Okay, you make a good point. What is L'maisa the heter? So we're saying like this, that the chumrah of Ma'aseh Uman is the chumrah that we have to be ma'ayin the kedarim of this chumrah. Ad heichon Chazal were machmer b'chlal for Ma'aseh Uman. Where do we draw the line? And how far they were machmer. Now,
can the Uman work on Chol Moed?
Why can't he?
Can he?
Uman cannot work. So that's right. That's a bezunder sugya. Shayl, meaning if you had to do a Ma'aseh Uman, could you hire a guy and pay him? That's a different sugya. Kipshuta, it depends. Yeah. So kipshuta, if you have a heter to do it, so you have heter to hire a guy to bring a professional. But that is a shayla we're going to see in Tafkuf Membeis. Stick around.
But the Uman don't work on Chol Moed.
Who had a Maisi here? Someone called an Uman Chol Moed. The Uman gave him a Moser Shmuz, told him, "Why are you calling me Chol Moed? You're not allowed to fix. He's a plumber. You're not allowed to fix this Chol Moed."
But then he can't.
He sent his brother. He's from whatever. You bring an Arab. Okay, that's a different child. Now, what is the heter? So to do a malachas uman l'tzarech hamayit, we see, so we can understand that there. But what is the heter? What's more in the Gemara? You can do a malachas hedyot shalot l'tzarech hamayit. To do malachas shalot l'tzarech hamayit l'tzarech rabim. What's the heter? It's an issa deraisa. Kai Malon, at least we're choishish for the shita that there's an issa deraisa to do malacha and chol moed shalot l'tzarech hamayit. So what's the heter of tzarech rabim? So Matzina was there. Three shitas. How to understand the heter of tzarech rabim. So the first is what the Rosh and the Nuki Yisrael bring from the Ravid. That the Ravid's heter in tzarech rabim is to do malacha shalot l'tzarech hamayit. It's ke'en a davar avid. How's it a davar avid? It says the Ravid, al pi Yerushalmi, that if the rabbim don't take care of their communal needs, Zman habatala, when everyone's off from work, it's never going to get taken care of. So let's call it ke'en a davar avid. There's a Rosh be'emes in the second parak that's mashma also, that the Ravid Halav was from the sugi of davar avid. Here it's a little bit less clear. It's me'ain the sugi at least of davar avid. Meaning you're going to lose out on the opportunity to take care of this need. So we matter. That's the Ravid's shita. The Ritva, like we all saw on Daf Hey in the Chedushim, The Ritva is chaylik on the Ravid. He doesn't quote the Ravid, but he asks the same question. How can we matter doing something shalot tzarech hamoyed? Says the Ritva, and don't tell me that you're doing it stam shalot tzarech hamoyed. You have to be matter something that has no tzarech hamoyed. He's not masking, he's not noiches betzim to the svar of the Ravid. And the Ritva learns that be'emes we're talking about, there's never had to do something shalot tzarech hamoyed klal, says the Ritva. It means that really you had some kind of a tzarech, you had water available, you wanted the water to come closer, it was harvacha. It was to make things more gishmak, and for that we're machmer for yachid and mekel for rabbi. That's the Ritva, who does not agree with the Rosh and the Ravid. Now, l'chayra, we find a third shita in the heter of tzarech rabbi b'chlal, and that's the Rashba. The Chuvas Rashba brought in Beis Yosef, that the Rashba there was asked about building a shul on Chol Hamoed, and the Rashba says, let's see. First he discusses the question if you have another shul, so what's your head to build this shul? If you have another shul, you can take care of it. And then says the Rashba, what about the head of Tzarchei Rabbim? Says the Rashba, it's a mistake to think that because of the sugi of Tzarchei Rabbim, you can build a shul. And the Rashba goes on to be mitzamtzim, l'chayra with the groisa hakbala, the din of Tzarchei Rabbim, that it's only in the hechetintzes and in the examples that we find in the Mishnah, which are tzarchei aguf chayei nefesh, fixing the roads so you shouldn't end up bleeding from tripping on the road, fixing the merchat so you shouldn't get sick with all kinds of different diseases from not having a shower. So Zakti Rashba, Mashenkein stam a mitzvah ba'alma of building a shul, so don't daven in a shul, daven somewhere else, daven in your house. The Rashba says in Chuvas, the emes says the mashmos of the Rashba, so just don't daven with the minyan. It's a tzarech mitzvah, you're going to lose out on the mitzvah. That's not enough to be matir even tzarchei harabim. Not lahedya. It's not clear in Chanami what would be if you don't have another shul. That's a shayla. The Mishbur assumes that if you don't have another shul, too bad. So they bring that in the Hemshech of the Rashba, there's makom modern, and maybe if you don't have another shul, it would. Okay. But Al Kapanim, that's the Hakbala of the Rashba. That's the one Nekuda in the Rashba that Tzarchei Rabbim are only for Tzarchei Haguf, which is very chashav because it's paskin in the Ramah. The Ramah paskins the Rashba that you can't build a shul. But mitam the Rashba that you need tzarchei haguf, so we're going to have to examine what are the parameters of these tzarchei haguf that the Rashba limits for tzarchei rabbi. Says the Rashba, but if it is tzarchei haguf, then you could do it. Merchat shel Rabbim, the communal bathhouse, that's for everyone. Then you could talk about it. Why says the Rashba? Because for every yachid who comes to get his merchatz, we tell him go home, use your friend's merchatz, bathe yourself without a merchatz. Be mevater on the merchatz, chveis nicht. You don't really need it. But once there's a tzibur that's using this merchatz, it's zecher going to be one guy in that tzibur, it's mamish, he can't survive without it. It's ef shabalavach, he lashon mishnah ruiz, he quoting the Rashba, she ef shaloi b'shum oifen b'loi merchatz. There's that guy who just like can't be soiv. And the melo, since in every rabbin you can have one yachid like that, so it's mutter. So that brought everyone, I think, command everyone to the very pasha de shayla. Is that how is the Rashba understanding his heter? The heter of tzarchei rabbim l'chayra is something that's going, like the lefi the svar of the Ravid, it's going beyond tzarchei yachid. You could do something shalot tzarech hamayid because of the svar of davar avi. The Ritz was saying because of harvacha. The Rash was just saying in every rabbin you're going to have one guy who like really really needs it. That shower, you like can't be slave without the shower. Some people without the shower they're done. And the mela were matter what? Even a ma'aseh uman. So tzarechiyah. Hooray for, let's say you have a yachid who comes and he taka can't be slave anything without that shower. But he's a yachid who has a tzarech. Shkoyach, you have a tzarech for a yachid. You're going to do ma'aseh, you can't do ma'aseh uman. L'chayr before in this Rashba that there are some ifanim for tzarchei haguf where if you need, where it's built in Izbal, where you just can't be soivel, we matter even to do a ma'aseh uman. And l'chayr that would be true. Even if kol yachid comes and says I can't be soivel, so we'll matter to do a ma'aseh uman l'tzarech hamayim. Now, so what is the makar? Makar l'davar zeh. So Azai.
And yeah, and then there are bacha for Rabbim and Yachid. So we do it even though before we have the guy in front of us.
I'm not sure.
It's like on a suf.
We're just misha'ar that, right? Exactly. That's what you could hear. So where does this heter start? So the heter starts with the fact that it's not a davar pasha. Is it true that we never matter ma'aseh uman for a yachid? So we all know that it's pasha that we do matter ma'aseh uman for tzarech yachid. Which I find it. So the pasha oifin is like the Ramban says right away in the beginning of Piskei Chol Moed, that for tzarchei oichol nefesh, for food related needs, so there's no problem. You could do a ma'aseh uman, b'tircha, b'farhesia, machavim lachta b'moed, no matter how much tircha and how much umus you need. And not only that, Zok the Ramban, and really the makar is from here, but even machshiri oichol nefesh, and that's the makar from the Gemara in Daf Yud Aleph, that you're allowed to make a tanner, you're allowed to build an oven on Chol Hamoed. Building an oven even by ma'aseh umnis, b'farhesia, b'tircha, b'chule, because it's tzarchei oichel nefesh, tzarchei oichel nefesh lo higbilu. Then you could go as far as you like. So that's the Ramban says. Mechaven melach l'moyer out. That's for sure the halacha. Some Rishonim like even the fact. Fine. So we already have the fact that a yachid could do meleches oichel nefesh, gam b'maisa umnus and gam b'tircha meruba. Sai oichel nefesh and sai machshir oichel nefesh. That's shlav one. Then the Ramban in Piskei Chol Moed goes on to explain that it's not machshir oichel nefesh building an oven. Building an oven, you don't eat the oven. You cook food in the oven, but you're allowed to build an oven from scratch. That's what's paskin in Shulchan Aruch Tav Kuf Mem Siv Zayin. Poskim will point out that even by Ma'is Uman, we pass in Allah, you're allowed to build an oven in Chol Moed. Says the Ramban, the emes the heter goes beyond oichel nefesh. You're also allowed to do Ma'is Uman not only for oichel nefesh, not only for machshir oichel nefesh, but also for certain tzarchei haguf, certain hanoyas haguf. The Makar is from the Mishnah Dafches, Tachshitei Noshim. Tachshitei Noshim means that they're allowed to make themselves up in all kinds of makeup or whatever other malachas they were doing to beautify their guf. And the Rishonim, the Ritva, the Ramban point out that's mutar even b'maisa uman, even b'malacha gemura, and that's the halacha in Tav Kuf Mem Vav, the B'soif Sin in Tav Kuf Mem Vav. So says the Ramban, what's the heter? What's the heter of Tachshitei Noshim that we allow you to do even maisa uman? So the Ramban says because tzarchei haguf mamish, things that you're doing for your guf mamish, we made them like oichel nefesh. Oise isha kol tachshideh b'mayir, kechalas v'keses, all the other things. Zok bi'ar lacha, tav kuf mem vav sif hey, shezeh tzarech hagufu uche'ein oichel nefesh, according to the Ritva, which is also the first in the Ramban, ulefikach oise kedarka b'loi shinu b'tircha rabba, als. So we have oichel nefesh, machshirei oichel nefesh, and hu adim tzarchei haguf. The Ramban says l'mashal, tzarchei haguf not limited to an isha. Let's say you have someone who has had to take a haircut in Chol Moed. Elu megalchen b'moed. We're going to learn this. So you look, see that some people cannot take a haircut, and some people could take a haircut. The people who could take a haircut, are you allowed to go to a professional barber, or do you have to do a ma'aseh hedyot? It's tzarech hamoed. You should have to a ma'aseh hedyot. It says in the Ramban, no. It's tachshitei haguf. It's tzarechei haguf. You're allowed to do a ma'aseh uman. The Bi'al Lacha B'emes we'll see was niskasha with this question. Why is someone allowed to take a haircut even by ma'aseh uman? It's first you're allowed to take a ma'aseh uman. Bi'al Lacha had some problems with first in the Ramban. The heter is because tzarchei haguf. So we have oichel nefesh and tzarchei haguf that are allowed to be done across the board, even b'maisa uman mamish. U'betircha v'chulei mamish like food. Fine. Frek the Ritva Shaila and Daf Yud. So you're allowed to do malachas uman for oichel nefesh and for hanas haguf. So why can't I knit a sweater? Why can't I do tefillah? Why can't I do ketiri biri? That's what the Ritva is going on, which is some kind of hemming of a shirt or ironing of a shirt. But hedyot taifer kedarkai. That's the makar that you tzarchei hamoed. You need a shino. You're not allowed to do ma'aseh uman from tefira. Tefira is talking about clothing, right? So frek the Ritva be'etzem if you're mind that Ritva daf Yud. Why can't I so beg it? Beg it at tzarchei haguf and asaguf to keep me warm. Zok the Ritva no. Tachshitei noshim. Taspire is taking a haircut. The Ritva speaks about in El Magalcha and the Rabbanim Psakim. Tachshitei Nashim, that's begufa mamish. That's mamish on her guf. So then we matter like oichel nefesh, and you could even do a ma'aseh uman. Mashein kain, things that are outside her guf, making a sweater, fixing the ketiri biri of her clothing, bechule. These things are not begufa mamish. They get a regular din of what's it called? Of tzarchei hamoed, which you can only do ma'aseh hedyot, not ma'aseh uman. That's the din of taifer uman. Has to be make a shinu in his tefillah.
And to be machshirin. Silly question.
What's that? So it's not machshirei oichel nefesh, but it is machshirei hanas haguf.
Right, that's what I mean. And we call the nas haguf.
So l'chayra steht da that hagam that by oichel nefesh mamish we matter side the oichel nefesh and the machshirei oichel nefesh. By hanas haguf, hagam that we gave the etzem hanas haguf a din of oichel nefesh. That's only the hanas haguf mamish on your guf that your mamish doing malacha in your guf taking a haircut. But machshirei hanas haguf, machshirei tzarchei haguf, that not. Now, if you look in the Ritva, he's makdim before he says this chelak and Daf Yud. And he says, first of all, the clothing, the keturi biri, you can do without it. It's efshar b'lav achi. You don't really need to do the keturi biri. You can be stuck there without keturi biri. And Dr. Ritva, it's not in gufa mamish. So l'chayra, on this bainin in the Ritva, it's mavur, like the Rashba. That be'etzem, if you're trying to do something that's not on your guf mamish, you want to fix something, you want to fix some clothing, it's machshirei hanas haguf. So it's Aser. But it's only Aser, why? Because it's Efshar B'Lavach, says the Ritva. So I'm explaining, Hein Devrei Rashba. What's the Rashba saying? I want to fix my shower. So a Yachad, we say, go use your neighbor's shower, you don't need a shower, you can bathe yourself some other way. But if there's someone who really needs that Hachshara, he really needs to fix the shower because he can't be soivel, he's suffering terribly, then it's up to the Rashba, then it's Takamutter, right? That's what's coming out from the Rashba. He's saying when you have a rabbim, there's a chiddush that we assume that one of the guy really needs. So you see, if you really need it, we're even machshirei, fixing the shower is not hanasa guf. You don't fix the shower on your guf. You fix the shower, then you go in the shower. So it's a tikka taking place outside of your guf. So divrei haritzva hein divrei harashba. B'divrei shnei mevur, that something, a tikkun that you're doing for a tzorich of your guf, but not on your guf. So be'etzem, it's also. Unless it's a matziv that's built in Isbel. Unless it's Efshar B'Lavach, you can't be soivel. Like that one guy says the Shartiyah, like that one guy the Rashba was talking about. That it's Efshar Loi B'Shum Oifen B'Loi Merchas. He just can't be soivel. So Zok the Ritva, it's Meduyik in the Ritva, the same word. You can't do it, says the Ritva. You can't fix clothing because it's Efshar B'Lavachi. But if it would be Efshar B'Lavachi, and you for some reason it would be totally necessary to do it, we're talking about it. So l'chayre mavur kind of soigot that in machshire, let's call them machshire tzarchei aguf, machshire hanas aguf, we aser unless you're stuck, unless it's efshar b'lavachi. So that chiddush that we found in the Rashba, we also see now in the Ritva. And l'chayre we have kama v'kama makayros that indicate this yisoid, that by machshire hanas aguf, if you get to a matziv where it's a tzarech chiyuni, it's a tzarech gadol, and you can't be soivel without it, that would be mutter.
It comes out, if I'm following that, not now when we each have more than one article of clothing. In time of the Gemara, the local tailor can sew on Chol Moed, because one guy doesn't have any more clothing,
Yes.
he really needs it.
Yes,
and yet
but
Gemara says, Uman.
1 second. Yes, but he has to do my sedi.
No,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. That's only for
No.
himself. But once it's for the tzibur, we allow him. I say, Uman.
No, because the whole word I'm saying is it has to be in a matziv where it's efshar b'lavachi. It's efshar b'hedyot. As long as it's efshar b'maisa hedyot, we require to do maisa hedyot. What I'm telling you now is to take the haircut, so you can't take a haircut with a hedyot. And you can't, and the merchatz, it's a matzah that you can't do. But if you could do a maisa hedyot, we'd force you to downgrade maisa hedyot. I think that's good for the word by tefira. By tefira, exactly like you're saying.
No, Americans is one chefza which everyone is going to use. Somebody's going to use that chefza.
And you can't do it in the beheaded.
Right.
This guy's
Right. That's what I'm suggesting. That maybe you can't do that, but if you could do it with that, you could be chuv to do it with maisa hedyot. Yes. Now, let's just see some of the examples we find in the poskim. Yeah. So there's halach and tafkuf mem sif gimel that if your roof has cracks in it, you're allowed to fix it. It's a Mishnah and it's a halach and tafkuf mem sif gimel. The halach is you're allowed to fix your roof only the maisa hedyot. Why? Because tzarech hamoed for a yachid. We're not talking about a rabbin. A yachid is allowed to fix his roof. The maisa hedyot. What's tzarech hamoed? Says the Biur Halacha, quotes the Ritva. It's from the Ritva. It's the same Ritva l'shittasoi. Now, when you're allowed to only fix your roof a maisa hedyot, and we limit it to a maisa hedyot, talking here about using a clay omnus, is only when there's a chashash. Why do you fix your roof? Because you're afraid it might rain, and then if you rain, you're going to get wet. So that's only when it's a chashash that it might rain. It says the Biur Halacha, the Ritva, but if it's raining mamish, Ein Adam, he says two svaras. First of all, it's davar of it, you ruin your house. But without davar of it, there's a different svar. Ein Adam dar b'diras rucha. Ein Adam dar b'diras rucha, you can do whatever's necessary. Do kedarka without any shiva. So l'chayra, what's this heter? We're talking about a question, doing a ma'aseh uman, that b'derech klal is m'chayev shina b'chol ha'mayit. Ein Adam dar b'diras rucha. Ein Adam dar b'diras rucha, too bad. So don't dar b'diras rucha, just suffer. Says the Ritva, the same Yisrael l'chayra. Once there's something that, even though the tikkun is outside of me, it's in the gag, I have to go fix my gag. So and the Mishnah, what's that?
But that's what the Maaseh does.
Oh, exactly. So even though the Mishnah says you can only do a Maaseh Hedyot.
But nowadays,
Oh, so says the Ritva, you're allowed to do a Maaseh Hedyot is because it's not raining yet. But if it's raining and your mamish getting flooded, then you can do a Maaseh Uman. So even nowadays, let's say a person finds a little crack in his roof, but it's not raining right now. So l'chayra, for a yachid, you'd have to do a Maaseh Hedyot. You wouldn't be allowed to do a Maaseh Uman. You can go tar it up yourself, put a little pitch on it, whatever it is. Mashe'im kain, if it's mamish raining, so l'chayra it's the same part. It's a tzorech haguf that your house shouldn't be flooded, wet. So if it gets to a matziv where it's built in his bow, because ain't nothing darba dir surcha, and a chanami is up to it, then a vadi could do even a Maaseh Uman and do what's necessary. one makar. Another makar is the poskim in Tavkuf Mem. That we have a heter, like we said, to make a tanner. Tanner is machshir echol nefesh. That's mamish klat. Says the Pri Megadim Mishnah Berurah, you can also make a tanner beis hachorev, meaning it's not right for cooking food. It's only for providing heat. Heat is hanas haguf, tzarchei haguf. So it's mutter. Says the Mishnah Berurah from the Pri Megadim, it's mutter. Zok the Shulchan Aruch Shitim, yeah, hanas haguf. You could even do a ma'aseh uman. In fact, the Sharatzian, how could you do a ma'aseh uman? It's tzarich yachid, and he asks for merchatz. So the Mishnah Berurah gets a little complicated. What's that?
The heat is not going to nefesh.
No food, not food. I'm talking about tzarich haguf.
Guf, we said, is not machshir. It's oichel nefesh.
Yeah, but
So
here
you don't have to come on?
No, you do, because you're not fixing your guf. You're not heating up your guf. You're fixing the oven so that it will provide heat. So it's just like fixing the shower, and it's just like knitting. Basically, fixing a heater is like knitting a sweater. It's a machshirei hanos haguf. And Mamei l'sharatziim frex u'mitzedek. Then what's the heter? Says the sharatziim, and he asks for merchatz. He says, just like my merchatz or yachid, also I'm fixing the shower so I can have hanos haguf. So here also I'm fixing the heat so I can have hanos haguf. So what's that? There's sharatziim tzarachin elamai. He quotes the Pri Megadim hakol choylem eitz latzina. That since everyone's choylem eitz latzina, that's the heter.
Because the Mishnah Berurah can't say this now, because we saw in the Shari Tzion that he holds if the Yachid screams, we don't allow it. He doesn't buy anything. What the Chiddush we're saying, he doesn't agree.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think the Sharatziim says anywhere that if the Yachid is screaming, I think like yeah, he would be masking. Well, I think at least B'mik says he masking. In Tavkuf Memdal it's not before, but let's think about what the Mishnah Berurah is saying from the Pri Megadim. Hakol choylem eitz latzina. What's the word hakol choylem eitz latzina? So the pshat is it's refuah in a chanami. We're going to get to that's the next makar is refuah. It doesn't mean anyone's sick. It means that it's yitachin you'll get sick. Hakol choylem eitz latzina takamata zmirila akam and we takamater ki'ilu the tzrachim of a choylem. We're not by emes talking about someone sick. We're talking about someone who's old to get sick. So I think hein hadvar. If it's a tzorech chiyuni, if mamish can't be soivel, it's freezing cold, I'm going to get sick. You know, so some people will get sick, some people won't get sick. But if it's a tzorech gomer, that you can't be soivel b'lavachi, there's just no other way to be mistader without it. So then who hadin, who hatam? Azoivi, if it's raining into your house and you can't be soivel. So, because ein adam davar to your sucha, so hakol choylem eitz latzina is another way of saying that, it's another way of saying the Rashba. She'i efshar loy b'shum oifen b'lavachi. So says the Rashba, if you're that guy that's EF Shalai B'li Merchatz, then you have a heter. Well, if not, if it's just for no chiyut, it's just gishmak, so then it does get the heter of Eichel Nefesh. It doesn't even get the heter of Machshir Eichel Nefesh. But if it's Mamish Tzorech Gomer, then in Chanami Yesh Makom Lahat. So where does this come from? So what's the refuah, right? That's exactly what the Sharatzian and the Pri Megadim are quoting refuah. So that's the next makar is Tavkuf Lamed Beis is the din of tzarchei refuah b'chol hamoed, which is from a Tosefta. The Rishonim will quote it. It's quoted in Shulchan Aruch Tavkuf Lamed Beis that we matter kol tzarchei refuah b'chol hamoed. Say the poskim Pri Megadim Chayadam Mishnah Berurah quotes it that you're allowed to do everything. Malacha gemura ma'aseh uman hakol l'tzarech l'chodeshim basakana. So again, we're talking about the question of doing a ma'aseh uman. So it's not so schwer.
There's no other way, right?
Yeah, let's assume there's no other way. So it's not so schwer. Again, we're talking about Issa D'Rabbanan of doing a ma'aseh uman. Because again, tzarech hamoed matters everything min HaTorah. It's a question of Issa D'Rabbanan. So Issa D'Rabbanan, we take a matter for a chol l'shev b'sakana. But it's yitachin that it's not a vart from like Shin Chav Ches, from Dinei Shabbos, that's Dinei Choyl that we matter in Issa D'Rabbanan. But rather, it's kol zenichla on the heter of tzarchei haguf. Tzarchei haguf, that it's EF Shabbalavachi. So someone who's sick and he's suffering, so you could go do a ma'aseh uman. Why? It's tzarech of a yachid. You only allow a ma'aseh hedyot. Says the Rashba, but if it's EF Shabbalavachi, if it's for a hachshara of something, which is for tzarech haguf, hanas haguf, and it's EF to be soivel b'lavachi, then it's like a motem. Rabbi Yanaf Kamina, we saw today a tshuva from Ber Moshe, he declares, do you have to have dinei nafal mishkov, dinei chodeshim masakana? Let's say it's not nafal mishkov, it's just a tsar, or it's mixas choyli, or mechush for that matter. So mechush maybe not, maybe mechush just harvacha, but someone who has like some serious tsar, for tsar we don't matter, refuah b'Shabbos. Some may find him and some may find him not. So it's yitachin that the heter refuah is all under the same banner of tzarchei haguf. And in a chanami, tzarchei haguf says the Ramban, and says the Ritva, it's only tachshitei isha, taspiris, it's only in the guf mamish. That's what's mutter in ganzin, like oichel nefesh. But if it's outside your guf, you're being machshir something for your hanas haguf, like fixing the shower, or doing other things from outside your guf, fixing the heater, the tanner based achayrif, or fixing your roof. Kol chi hagavano, we say, you have to avoid it. You can only do a ma'aseh hedyot. Heichad efshir. The hecha the efshir, and you can't be soivel b'lavachi. That matters even a ma'isa uma. And the final makar. Let's get the final makar, and then we'll try to go back to the questions. So the final makar is the Ramban. The Ramban in the Arsug Yamamish. The Ramban in the Arsug is talking about a yachid. A yachid is not allowed to dig a bar for water. Says the Ramban, what are we talking about exactly? Says the Ramban, we're talking about a guy who has access to water down the block. It's tircha, he has the bar shal rabim, he has to go kles, he has to schlep to get his water. Says the Ramban, well, give me matriach you to get your water. And the Bishop Brewer passing is like the Maggid Mishnah, that even if it's very difficult, even if it's mamish a tircha gedola, we still matriach you. We don't matter you to dig a bar with a maisa uman. Says the Ramban, if you mamish have nothing to drink, then avadi can do malach. Avadi can do the hachshara of the bar, the maisa uman, to provide yourself water. So what is this heter? So Aruch HaShulchan says something about Pekuach Nefesh. The Pashat he's not talking about real Pekuach Nefesh or even something Pekuach Nefesh, because then the Rambam wouldn't have to say, if you don't have water, it's mutter, azoivi, kol meleches mayid, l'tzarech oichel nefesh, like k'tzir t'china. I mean, it's mutter on Yom Kippur, b'shas ne'ilah, to dig a bar if it's Pekuach Nefesh. So, he's not talking about real Pekuach Nefesh. I don't know what Aruch HaShulchan means, but the kavanah of the Ramban at least is very clear. That we're matriach you, since you're doing a hachshara that's outside of you, that's not in your guf, you're doing a hachshara. So the mele we're machmir until it comes built in his baal, until it comes a matzav where you can't handle it. It's not shchiach that you won't be able to do matzav.
No, it's not shchiach that will be pekuach nefesh because you can
always get water.
At least far away.
Right. And I'm asking to the chumrah that you have to go far away. But the question is, does it have to come to pekuach nefesh? The churi doesn't have to come to a matzav pekuach nefesh. And Larvas, the Ramban is mamish saying this. He said it happens to be this whole shaila is very shver the Ramban, because this is the whole discussion we're having. We're trying to bring rayos for is for machshiri hanas aguf, for your heater, for your roof, for your refuah, b'chule, for doing things outside. If this is machshiri echol nefesh, this is stam shver. What's the difference between digging a bar and making a tana? Yeah, you're allowed to make a tana b'shufa. You don't have to be matriach nothing. You don't have to go to your neighbor nothing. You're allowed to make a tana. So then why can't you dig a bar? Oh, says Beinish l'char. That's the emes that it's not mamish amachshir. Hagam that here we're not talking about anas aguf. We're talking about drinking, which is tzarchei achilu shasiyah. It's tzarchei echol nefesh. But l'maisa you're not making a machshir. You're not being machshir the water. You're just providing yourself water. So memela it's more chamer and kihechi that you have another oifen to get water. Digging a bar is not called machshirei oichel nefesh, like an oven, which is emes machshirei oichel nefesh. And ke'enzeh, this is what we all saw in the Magen Avram. The Ramban alludes to this idea also, that the Magen Avram asks the same question on mitzvahs. You're not allowed to make mitzvahs dagim. Why? Machshirei oichel nefesh was different than a tanur. So the Magen Avram also says a similar idea, that it has to be something that's a machshir mamish, it's machshir the food, and the nets just bring you the fish. Once you get the fish, they're not ready to eat. You have to do vaita achshara, so it's machshirin, it's too vait. But oifen that the bar hamayim gets the same chumrah as something that's not mamish machshiri oichel nefesh. Let's call it like machshiri hanas aguf, and memela the same kolam that you have to be matriach yourself. Says the Mishnah, you have to be matriach yourself, even if it's a tircha yisera. He has such a lashon from the Maggid Mishnah. Even if it's a great tircha, elbnei doicha karbe, it's still aser. But the mice, if it gets to a matzav where you can't be soivel, I don't know exactly the shear, but it's not that you have a chash you might die. That's clear. What? Right. It's machlokes.
He says, I know that.
So l'chayr, this is l'chayr. There's no chilik
between yochid.
No, how much
it's always us.
Yes, what does that mean?
No,
that's the Ramban.
Say that, and then brings both stuff.
Say that. I'm just saying, like halacha that we're making, like the Ramban is. Say this.
Half of pecan, but it's a
right, so I'm just saying, Iman Nishnas. Ad Heichen Advar Magim. How weit do we have to go? I'm just saying, I don't think it's Pekuach Nefesh. If we're going to accept the Ramban is mattering. Here, you're saying even if you should the Rambam. But if the Ramban that matters Mikoyach, the first in the Rana, is Mikoyach Oichel Nefesh. So the heter of Oichel Nefesh is talking Kihechi that Kihechi that it's Efsher Balavachi, that you get to a matzah that is built in this bowl and you have no access to the water. It becomes a din like Oichel Nefesh. So what's the vart? If all this is true, what the Rashba is saying, what's Mavur in the Ritva L'chayra, and what's Churim Duik in the Ramban, Rashba Ritva, that all these tzrachim that we do not matter mais uman for, but when it gets to a matziv where it's efsher balavachi, because it's bordering on some kind of tzarech gomer choyli maybe, like kol choyli meitz latzino, or ein adam dar b'dir esrucha, different matzavim that's built in this book. It's a tzarech chiyuni, it's mamish, some kind of a darga, like a choylish im basakana, somewhere along these lines. Even less than a mask, even less than that, a real tzarech. So b'chiyai gavna, something that otherwise would have been aser becomes mutter. So what's the shayrish hadavar? So dugma l'davar, I don't think it's mamish the same thing, but ke'ein davers that we saw in Hilchos Yom Tov, Tavkuf Yudalid. So kibui, at least kibui, not certainly found it's mutter, but often that kibui is aser, like it's born in the Gemara in Beitz and Tavkuf Beis and Tavkuf Yudalid. If your house is on fire and Yom Tov, you're not allowed to put out the fire. And if it's being ma'ash in your bias, you're not allowed to put out a fire in Yom Tov. Says some Rishonim, the Ramah Paskin, it's not the Rosh. So that's something which is aser and doesn't have the heter of tzarech oichel nefesh. Because it's not tzarech oichel nefesh. It's very, I feel very bad for you that your house is burning down. But what's it have to do with oichel nefesh? Says the Rosh. But if it's a matziv that without doing this kibui, you're not going to have food, you're going to lose your food, that becomes like tzarech oichel nefesh. Maybe machshir nefesh. What's that?
Why don't you just take the pots out?
And you're mechuyev to take the pots out. Ad kedei kach, Magen says, even if you can go to your goyish neighbor.
So how is that going to ruin the food if you take the pots out of the oven that's smoking?
No, the point is you have no place to go. You have no place. You can be mevatel your suda. Outside it's too hot, it's raining, it's sunny. You have nowhere to go. So chiyai gavna. So l'chari you see from the Rishonim this idea that when Chazal said there's a heter of oichel nefesh, and there's some heterim by cholamoid it's machshir oichel nefesh, but stam machshirim for hanas haguf. Hanas haguf is mutter into the guf mamish, but machshir haguf are not mutter. So it's only kihechi that you can be mistader. Only kihechi that it's not mamish for the hanas haguf. But if your hanas haguf is mitlatoi v'koi and doing these things, that becomes becomes nichlal into the heter of tzorchei haguf, of tzorchei hanas haguf and chayi nefesh. And ba'ofen that when it's impossible b'lav hachi, it's mutter even to do a ma'isuman. As it's mutter to do a ma'isuman for hanas haguf and tzorchei haguf mamish like tachshite noshim and like taking a haircut, like the Ramban says.
Then the raya from fixing the roof, it's no longer a raya from machshira because it's mamish or from nefesh.
In which case, if it's raining in mamish,
you won't have where to eat. You lost your food. You know you lost that raya. We were going to say that's good for machshira.
yeah. You're saying here if it's a food
Mamish
issue,
direct.
well, let's say you're not eating home, you're eating out. It's just your deer, so you'll stay. Something like that. I don't think it's totally nachil over there in Chanami. But if it would be totally nachil, you might have a place. Okay. Yeah. So what do you say?
Very quick. We said that everything that the Rashi will be massive. Now, again, I'm sorry I keep coming back to this trash box. We didn't matter for the rabbin to make it closer. The heter was someone will vaday need it. Meaning when the yachid approaches us, there's no havamina he's telling us, I want it closer. Because even for the rabbin, that's us. Elamai, he's tiny that he's the efsher.
Right.
And we tell him get lost.
Why do you say you tell me a lot?
Don't get lost.
No.
That's what he says. When the yachid comes, you tell him, you don't really need it. So I'm just saying, if he came and said, I want it closer.
Why are you assuming we tell him you don't really need it and he's masking?
No, because it says, also, why? A minute earlier he said,
But let's say the guy comes. You tell him go to Makam Acher. He says I can't. I broke my foot.
But everyone tells you that. That's what I'm telling you. Everyone's telling you that.
Why do you say that?
Because if the whole heter for the rabbin was not to make it closer for 10 million people, that's not enough. It's because one guy is dying. Then when the guy approaches us for that heter, he's not going to say, I need it closer. That wasn't enough to mock Yervin by the rabbin.
And Chanami.
So Vali, when he asks for the heter...
We're not talking about a lamdan who's learning Tov Kumadan. A guy comes, says the Rashba, a Yochid comes, and we tell him, get lost. You don't need a shower. You'll shower by your neighbor. You'll shower next week. You'll bathe yourself somewhere differently. So Rashba's talking about a guy who says, say this, I'll be machmer, fine. But if, and it's a miyat to miyat, I mean, at least Amol was. Amol, the average guy, says the Rashba, well, Tom, get lost. But if you're not the average guy, and Amol, that was a rarity, that the guy came and said, I can't be sold, why not? I mean, not everyone has a merchet shal yachid, like what's the big deal?
So why?
Say nechanami. Then we tell him to go home. Anytime he
You
goes
don't need the
home.
You're right. So
But if there's a guy who comes and says,
Great.
you know, I'm that guy.
So the heter doesn't need to start from Rabin. Let the heter start
Doesn't
from
have to.
Yochi.
There's a Tosefes Chiddush by Rabbi
We don't have it now.
that we're Mishayir, and we can make an assumption that B'toich the Rabbi there's
Seder. But it ends up being that the Iker heter is
is a
not the
Yochid. That's the Chiddush of the Rashi. Yes. Now let's talk about showers. Bizmanenu. So today, if your shower breaks, your bathtub breaks. So what's the din? So l'chayr we should assume. Let's look at Shulchan Aruch. Look at the Gemara. The Gemara says, well, if you shalmi merchatz, a merchatz or yachid, also to fix. Maybe my head, not my suman. And this is. Shartim one place says you can't do my head with tzarchin gadol chart pasha. It's tzarchin like you do my head. But let's say you need a my uman like there klaf. You have some kind of takala in your shower or your bath, something you need a my uman. So madina. So if this is all true, so we'll say it's usher. You're not allowed to fix your bathtub with a my uman or your shower with a my uman. But if we assume that today everyone is nichal in this category of it's built in this ba. And the average person is like that. So then it's loy gara from the roof, which is caving in on you, which is leaking in on you, and it's in a dar. And I think the best tushtal is taner beis hacharv. Taner beis hacharv hakol choyl meitz latzina. So if we assume it's not a din of choyli shemasakana, but rather it's a din of a tzarech gomer. A tzarech gomer is ef shabalach. For most people, it's ef shabalach. Now, if you have 2 showers or 2 baths and 2 bathrooms in a chanam, to go to the neighbor, I don't think it's a tabachal, like that's been discussed many times. People will just suffer. They won't go to the neighbor. So for machmer, you have to go to the neighbor, not go to the neighbor, just suffer. So we're talking about someone who's really suffering, someone who really needs it. Again, it's not pikuach nefesh. I don't think it has to be nafel mishkav either. But it's a tzorech gomer. It's like gar from Tana Beis HaChayrev. That the Mishnah is like, tzorech Ian. How do you make a Tana Beis HaChayrev? Hakol chayim etzel tzina. He found the sprach of hakol chayim. So even if we don't say hakol chayim etzel ha miklachat, but afal pikin, it's a tzarech gomer, it's ef shebalav. People can't be soivel. And Mameli could fix your shower l'chayr if necessary. Again, if you have another shower, not. So let's just talk for a second about the sink in the kitchen. The sink in the kitchen breaks.
By the shower, though, then if it's at the very end of Yontif, he's able to be soivel.
Not to take a shower. Yeah, depends what you're on, right? Simple start, right? In a chanam. But I think the more chamash is, let's say l'mashal the kitchen sink. So the sink is a bar shal yachid. Bar shal yachid now do a maisuman. So if your kitchen sink breaks, l'chayr we should say you can't fix it with maisuman. So if it's a maisuman, you say it's a tzarech hamoy. Maisuman, could you fix your kitchen sink? So is the average family like the Ramban? Which side of the Ramban are we like? Is it the guy we say, be matriach yourself, you can't have water savers, so you won't have a sink, be matriach yourself, or do we say, no, it's the guy that's ef shabalavachi, it's not pikuach nefesh. So if the Aruch HaShulchan requires pikuach nefesh, no one's going to die if your kitchen sink doesn't work. I hope. But it's built in this, people can't.
Much better.
What's
It's
that?
machshir echol nefesh.
What?
Much better. It's machshir echol nefesh.
But it's the machshir echol nefesh that have the chisaron of bar shal yachid. Bar shal yachid just provides you the water. It's not machshir the water. That's like we pointed out. Bar shal yachid now to do a maisuman. This is a bar shal yachid. This brings you water to your house instead of going to your neighbor or buying a few cases of Me'in to provide yourself. So here the problem is that in Kamat everyone's house, there's another sink. There's the bathroom sink. What's that?
You need it to wash dishes. You need it
I think it's machshir.
the water itself doesn't need that. You can't use it.
No. 2 sinks for mashal, yeah. No, to drink. Let's say you're saying it's not for drinking? Let's say it's not for drinking. I think a lot of people do drink tap water.
The problem is
And you need that.
You know what I mean? They can get clogged up.
So you have to wash your dishes.
Wash vleeshings in the
So you have to bring water to wash dishes. Wash in the bathtub. What? You say your wife's not going to be masking. But I don't know. Again, the Ramban says you have to matriach yourself turkey seir. Lamaisa, it's like very weird, and people like won't be happy about doing it. But l'chayr, you can wash your dishes in the bathroom. And even if you need water to drink in the bathroom, you know, we're machmer not to take water. Some people are machmer not to take water to drink in the bathroom.
Plastic instead of.
What? Or if you have some other oifen, I would think machmas kol tainas elu. It would not be beseder to fix the sink with the mice. Derech klav. I think it's not beseder to fix it with mice. You can do mice head do some kind of a shinui. Why can you imagine that? Because it's a doicha karbe. It says doicha karbe. It's also
No shinu.
what? No, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. You know, let's say the handle comes off, and so instead of installing a new faucet, you can put it on yeshiva. Doichik Arbi is also, it has to be worse than Doichik Arbi.
More than that.
You think, why is it?
Never need your own kitchen.
What?
Kids go to that, use that.
Ain't other Darba Dir Sucher, you're saying?
Yeah,
Go to your neighbors.
Go to your neighbors. You don't live in flat.
So I'm asking, I think that it might. So I call it for Indian, I call it for Rois. I think this is a shayla. I think this is a shayla. I don't think it's so poshut to call a guy to mamish. Let's say you need to replace your faucet in your sink in your bed. If you have two sinks, the mashal, I think it's poshut. It's also do a ma'isa uman. Use the other sink. Milchik splashik, so work it out. But if it's a matzah that you have to clean your dishes in your bathroom sink, I call it for Indian. If it's mamish, hakol choyel meitzla sink, and ef sherbalav hachi, and you can't be civil, but tzarich and exactly what we're holding and how big, how many pots you have to thing and how many and what the matzav is in the bathroom to clean it over there. Tzarich was that there you have to bamis think twice before you go to be making. Al derech zu, the air conditioning. So that depends where you live. If you live in South Florida, and your air conditioner breaks. Go ahead now.
Commissioner would master even makes the head.
No.
Yes, that's right.
Why?
I don't think we have to accept that.
So point that out.
No, he's coming off the top of Mendal.
Yeah, but the Mishnah Berurah thinks that. Oh, no, I'm not sure if la halacha. He just times will feed the rush. Could be not la halacha.
He's saying Sharetzi and Rashba. He learns again. He's bringing the Rashba that the Rashba will agree with you.
Sharetzi involved.
Yeah.
Tafkuf member, tafkuf medal.
He doesn't. The whole shir is based on that's not true. That the Rashba would be masking that if it's the Yachid who can prove that he really needs it, then we allow it.
He doesn't
What?
like those gross.
No, but saying if it's not like if it's too.
No one's going to Dave and
No, it's not. This is just the Sharetzi and just not his Tosefes in the Rashba that merchatz is not even a tzorech b'chlal to
By another
matter.
sink, I can't even do my setting.
Even if you don't have, you're saying if you don't have another sink, then you get it right. Exactly. But l'chayr, tzorechim go. How could tzorech rechitza not be? I'm saying anfakir. The way I'm learning Rashba, that the whole thing is based on that heter. Again, unless this is talking about the average guy, you say for you it's not a tzorech. So you're saying if you're that average guy, and we're telling you if you do it's not tzorech, you can't even do a ma'aseh hedyot. That's a plea in his go. I'm saying it's a tzorech hamoyed mufhekes. It's pasha that you can do a ma'aseh hedyot. Ma'aseh uman, that would be totally l'chayr in these questions. Now let's say your air conditioner goes out. So tzorech yachid, l'chayr ma'aseh uman should be aser. And if you need an uman to fix your air conditioner. So like that, I think it's hakol choylem eitzel hatzina. Is it hakol choylem eitzel hachoyim? It's a shayla on Shabbos from Yila'akom to turn on air conditioning. So I think it's hakol fi Indian. It's totally in the how bad it is, how hot it is, how much you're suffering.
Deal with the fan.
Yeah, if the fan's enough and you have another room that's air conditioned, zicher be the right thing to avoid it. If it's mamish built in, but it's a heat wave and you're mamish suffering, and you have a chveis for someone who can't be safe, also say that. So then there'd be makom. Now, the more common issue where it becomes very unmanageable is in the shul. And side because it gets much hotter and there's old air conditioners, broken air conditioners. So if it breaks on Cholamayit, the air conditioner in shul.
My still in the guy does it. But it's worse.
Could you bring a yid?
Yeah.
Could you bring an uman yid? Let's the leaf going.
Amiras yid. Amiras ma'aseh uman. What?
Stop.
Is my ma'aseh.
Can I have him work? What's the difference if I do it or you do it? Work.
He's got money.
But I can't do it. You can't invite me to come do an isser for you. Whatever. You can't tell me a Jew to come fix your air conditioner myself. You can't, just like you can't have me come fix your air conditioner on Shabbos, you can't come and have me fix your air conditioner on Chol. Same thing. They're both wearing the finger. Oh, so let's talk about the shul for a second because this is talking interesting. In the shul, so you're not allowed to build a shul. And the Rambam passed you're not allowed to build a shul. Go home, stay home, don't go to shul. So if the air conditioning in shul breaks, usually we have shuls. We're not usually building shuls on Chol. The Aruch HaShulchan B'chlal says that all the heterim we find, it's a very chashuv thing. Even Le'inyoneinu, that all these heterim we're finding, the Aruch HaShulchan says that lo shamanu me'olam, that people are going doing the emes tikkunim on Chol Hamoed, and vada is the chash zil hamoed, and this comes from the Aruch HaShulchan. So you should bereach from these heterim. So it's not something to keep in mind. It's not a tzarech kamer. Sometimes the air conditioning in shul is a tzarech kamer. But l'chayra lefi the Ramah, so it's taka tzarech kamer. So go home. Don't come to shul. Don't daven in shul. So what's your head to fix the air conditioner? So maybe there's no head to fix the air conditioner. I assume that's what these farm will taka say. So is there a head to fix the air conditioner? Uman yid. A guy is also answered. Okay, tzarech mitzvah. So we are making magen rab. Let's say a yid. Yes. Tzarech Rabbi, you're not allowed to build a shul. It's Tzarech Haguf for the shul though, so go home.
That's Tzarech Haguf for the shul, it's Tzarech Haguf for the people.
No. So they bring there from Shul Zalman, and Shvir Shabbos L'chasi says if it's your shul, that's all building a new shul. But if you already have a shul, then you're allowed to save it with a Maisa Uman. So that's an interesting svar, but I think, I'm not sure if that's what Shul Zalman.
Go out of your. The guy wants to be in shul.
You can shoot to the Rashi and go home. I'm very happy you're saying shul, but Tzarech Mitzvah, no have to do Malach Kol Bayit. I do think though, and maybe this is what Shul Zalman is, that there is be'emes heter b'zmanenu, and that is because our shuls are not really just for davening. Hopefully they're also for davening, but they're also for learning, they're also for making a kiddush, and for simple space shreiv. For what? Torah u'tvila, kishmoy, kenu. So we do all kinds of things, social events, and I don't know what else. A lot of things go on in the shul, much like Simchas Torah. I'm telling you, Simchas Torah, you spend the whole day in shul. You have 3 sudas, you're eating more than you eat like ever in your house, and also for learning, you know, davar avid for learning is a cheshbon, tafkuf memei, right, kedusha Torah. So once it's for learning and for kedusha and for all the other things that go on in shul, it's not just man. So I think that's the idea of Shlomo Zalman saying. Once it's your shul and your place, and that's where you hang out, and that's where you're doing all kinds of other stuff. So then, and there's no other shul to go to. I don't think you have to go to a different shul. It's like your house. It's like you don't have to go to a different house. This is where you daven. This is where you're comfortable davening.
Enough to go to different houses.
So here's the shul.
Still Akiva, when somebody's used to learning in a certain place.
Yeah, they're used to learning in a certain place. Okay, I just want to so there's a shiloh we were discussing yesterday a little bit. Is there a heter? So bismanenu it's not so negeya. If your phone goes out in your house and you need a Maisa Uman to fix it, so bismanenu it's not so negeya because you have 5 cell phones, and even if all your cell phones break, you get a new one. It's like great. What? Kosher cell phones. So if your phone breaks and you don't have cell phones, this was a question from Ber Moshe from 30 years ago, before everyone had a cell phone. But let's say you don't have a cell phone, or here in Eretz Yisrael now many people only have cell phones. Let's say your cell phone breaks, the only way to do it is to take it to a guy to fix it. To buy a new one, it's too expensive. I don't know, it depends how much. Kosher phones usually not that expensive. So Kipshuta it's a gomer. Maisa Uman you can't do. So you're going to be soivel. It's going to be several noira to not have a phone. You can go use your neighbor's phone, you can borrow a phone, I don't know. If you could talk borrow a phone, great, just borrow a phone from the way. Usually you could, but just la sabra is oizen. What?
Gareth Shalom, you can write according to the Rambam.
Al Tzarech Rabbi, you mean?
No, a Yachid can write any Gareth Shalom.
Because it's Tzarech Samai Sumar. So Ber Moshe has a tshuva, and he says like this. He says that basically he's trying to be marchiv this heter we're discussing. It's ef shabalav hachi. To even perhaps certain things that you just can't be soivel, not inside tzarchei haguf, because it's cold, or because it's dripping on your head, or because you need the shower, because you need the sink, but because a person can't be soivel. And he brings a very murdik tshuva from the Sirish tshuva, who was the Einkel of Ksav Sofer, the son of the Ksav Sofer, and Michelik Dalatz Memches, the Ksav Sofer there says that the Sirish tshuva says that there's some people, he basically describes in a very primitive way, describes like someone who's OCD, that some person has something to worry about. Some people have atzavim chaloshim, they're very nervy, and if they have something that they need to get done, and they're afraid they're going to forget about it, or until they get it done, they mamish can't think about anything else, they get very nervous. So there, that matters malach and cholamayit. He's talking about cholamayit over there, he says that can matter cholamayit, because that's a tzarech hamayit. And he says, Re'isi eitz la'adoni avizah, by the Ksav Sofer. And Cholamayit used to write down little things when he had something that he had to remember, and it's very important. He would get I guess he got nervous about it, I don't know exactly how much. But he said, L'zikaron, he would jot down different things. That's the big chiluk. So he says that that's a mice that matters malach. That's called a tzarech for malach Cholamayit. Now, Ber Moshe wants to start to fixing a phone, which is a mice uman. Is that tzarechim? Because this whole tshuva is talking about the gather of what is a tzarech hamoed b'chal. That's what we discussed a little bit. We'll hopefully discuss that by a different time. Going fishing and different things that may or may not be a tzarech hamoed. So this is called a tzarech hamoed. Someone has nerving. He's just nervous about something. He's uncomfortable about something. It's on his mind. It's weighing down. It's enough to do a ma'aseh heter, a tzarech hamoed. Alay matzinu, to be marchiv the heter, that a person's uncomfortable because he's worried about something, to matter even a ma'aseh uman, because the heter ma'aseh uman, as we said, even if we're going to be marchiv the heter beyond Oichel Nefesh, and beyond Tzarchei Haguf, for Machshirei Tzarchei Haguf, it's only something that's Machshirei Tzarchei Haguf. Like we said, all the examples we're saying, because you're cold, because you're mazgan, because you're taner beis achorif, because your head is dripping on you, because you're merchat shel yachid, all that is tzarech yakov. Masha'ein gain stam, person has some nerve, and I understand that should be tzarech hamayim, but to be marchet that should be tzarech haguf ad kedei lahater ma'is uman tzarech. What? Tzarech hamayim. Tzarech. I guess that's what he's saying. Tzarech. Here, could you take this back and we'll get it?
Come on.